Aye.
Aye.
Well, why don't we call the meeting to order then, since we're all present and accounted for?
You got it. 5:30
All right.
p.m.
Hi, Ben. This is Delise.
I'm Bridget.
How's everybody doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Excellent.
Like I tell them, I'm not afraid to be on camera. It's just way over on the other side of my desk. So instead of staring at my ear, I just keep it off.
I'm fine with that. Whatever works for all of us in this
Okay.
crazy world.
Yes, it has become a bit of a crazy world. Hey, just looking to swear you in. It's real simple. It just says that you swear to tell the truth, and anything that you say here is to the truth to the best of your knowledge.
I guess I have to raise my hand. Yeah, I do.
Okay, very good. In turn, I'm assuming that you are the proprietor or owner of the appeal of what we're discussing here today.
Which application are we speaking about? Is it the 4001-1000 or 4013-2000?
Actually, you've appealed both, Ben.
Yeah, I didn't know if let's
Want to do yours alone first?
Yeah, let's start with that one because I think that one's more straightforward for me at least.
So that's 4001-0000.
Yes, correct. I agree.
Yes. Okay. That's the one with all the machinery.
Correct.
Okay.
So the
So-
farm equipment.
Yep.
So
And
tell us what you have to say, Ben, about.
So historically, we've filed a roster of farm equipment that we use for hay production and maintaining the property. This past year, I just simply forgot to submit the list, and so I captured that list here. This is what's reflected in my inventory, and I wanted to submit it to the board for review. Note that farm equipment, I believe, is under $100,000 value for, I guess, it's an inclusive number of what would not be taxable for farm use, if that's correct. And just wanted to discuss this list with the board and let them make a decision based on the information provided.
Okay. To answer your question, farm machinery, if it's used wholly and exclusively for the farm use, then it is eligible for exemption up to a total of 100,000 assessed value.
Yep.
So that is correct.
Okay.
I have a question for you though. I'm seeing that the assessor gave us kind of a printout of your this account, and I see that for 2020, 2019, 18, 17, there was a code 25 on there, which is either late or did not file.
It was probably a file.
Did not file. Okay. Did you assume the business in 2017, Ben?
No, I did not. I assumed the business in 2009.
Oh.
And for the reason simply, I assumed that if the number was under 100,000, that it didn't matter whether it was. I made the incorrect assumption to say if it was under 100,000, it sounded like I didn't have to list anything because it was exempt anyways. And it looks like I made that decision in error. And so after calling Betsy and having a conversation with her, I realized that was not the case. And so that's why I decided to make this appeal and submit this information.
Okay. And so all those years from 2009, was it? Were you?
All the equipment that's listed here, aside from the last line item, have been in my, actually two of the line items have been in my possession prior to that.
Okay, I guess what I'm trying to understand is if you were, did you get a tax bill all those years? Were you not getting a tax bill? when you forgot to apply?
I'd have to ask my accountant.
Okay, because just to be clear, a business owner should be filing a personal property declaration.
This is all on my tax. Yeah, this was.
Right, and then within that declaration, there should also be the application, which I see you have filled out. One is dated 2/18/21, and one is dated 3/19/21. So there was a little bit of a brain warp there because that's 2 days from now. But at any rate, so there's
We're looking for the 2/18. I don't.
That's the next one we'll discuss, which is you and Corey Matthews, I believe.
Okay.
But I guess what I'm trying to understand is a business owner should file a personal property declaration every year, whether they're a farm or not.
Mhm.
And within that, some businesses can apply for exemption as well, which you want to do with your farm machinery. But what I'm trying to understand from you is if you were filing the personal property declaration or not filing at all. And then that's what I'm trying to understand, from 2009 or from 2017. I'm not clear, so I'm trying to hear that from you.
I use an accountant and have a bookkeeper manage all this, so I'm not necessarily.
You're not sure. Okay.
Yeah, I could, if there's a list of questions, I can certainly email that to them for response. I just.
No, it's not. No, I'm just trying to get a background. I think we can go.
More or less, we've always done farming, and we've used this equipment exclusively for it. I don't do commercial work with any of this stuff, so it's just what we've always done. I don't know. The Farm LH has been in our family since 1939, so I don't think a lot about.
Did you learn to drive it as a boy?
It was actually the Ford below the 1960 Ford is what I learned to drive stick on. Yeah.
I bet you love that, huh?
That's actually, yeah, that's my.
So if your crop is hay,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Hay, and also we do have, or we've had cattle.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
So and you sell the hay now? Is that what you use it if you don't? You no longer have it. Okay.
Yeah, square and round bales.
Okay. Square and round bales. Wow.
No, square and round.
That's what I said. Square and round. Do you guys have any questions for Ben? I have a couple comments.
Did you not get this form notarized? It's the form you submitted to us, Ben's not for the requested exemptions, not notarized.
And where is the request for exemption? Which form are you referring to?
The farm machinery, horses or ponies form.
Oh, okay. Well,
It says subscribed and sworn to at the bottom.
What I could do is, if it pleases the board, I could take that page and get it notarized and submit it to the group.
Am I sharing the sheet that we're talking about?
No.
You-
Got the agenda up there.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You have the schedule.
What
It
you
looks
want-
like this.
It's the one that's entitled farm machinery, horses or ponies.
It's this.
That-
I think I sent an email, and it's the second page of the scan.
And just to clarify, you did not file that by November 1st, correct?
Let me see when I sent the email.
It's in February,
Oh, by November 1st or February 1st?
correct? By November 2nd, 2020.
Correct. I put this together after I saw the notification, and then I had a conversation with Betsy because I wasn't sure what the email was in regards to. And when she said that, we went back to the original document, and that's when we realized it wasn't completed. And that's when I completed it for this discussion.
So one thing you should just know as a farm owner, Ben, just for going forward, because these are annual applications.
Mhm.
So statute is firm. They have to be filed by the due date, which is normally November 1st. But if that falls on a Saturday, it's the next business day after that. But they have to be completed in full and timely filed. So if it's not, because you're making a note, you're notarizing, you're swearing to the fact that you have these questions you've answered are true.
Understood.
So next year, be sure put a tickler on your calendar for October 1, because you're going to get a personal property declaration, and you should be wagging your finger at the accountant to make you aware. Because if you get this in on time, you got it. Unless for some reason you have omitted something or there's a problem. I don't expect that that would happen.
Between November and today, we've already made some changes to address these things.
Well, when you have a business, you're just declaring your taxable property per state statute with your town assessor once a year, and it's as of the assessment date, October 1.
Yeah.
So all of those changes you've made, whether you got rid of something or whether you've added something on, if you added something on, you don't have to declare it until next October 1, which is due a month later, November 1, as is your application for exemption of any of the farm machinery. But remember, you can't just be a farmer and have it. You have to use it exclusively and wholly in the farm use, whatever that is.
Yep.
So, and I'm sure you understand that, but unfortunately for me, I mean, I would tell you straight out, Ben, that because you didn't complete it, and it says right on the application, failure to file this application within the time limit prescribed shall be considered a waiver of the right to such exemption for that assessment year. So for me, I can't vote to approve this, but I want you to know that this problem for you goes away next year and every year thereafter. Just be sure to file it timely.
Yeah, I accept that that's, the facts are the facts. So I'm completely fine with that. And it's unfortunate that that's the case, but it is what it is at the end.
Well, that would be my vote. I'm just explaining what my vote is. And I have some knowledge of this too. So and also these questions. One thing I did notice though, Ben, is that the first question you answered, that you said you filed or you intend to file for exemption as a member of a group of farmers or in another location, is that referring to Corey Matthews and you? Or are you filing in another town as well? It's actually question 1.
If you filed or do you intend to file an application for exemption as provided under the statute, that should be no.
Okay. So it normally, because the state only allows one exemption in one town, you can't have 5 farms,
We don't, I don't think we really have to get into that because simply it's just Morris. There's no other town or
right. Although I wanted to point out just for you to think about. So that should be yes, because you're filing for another account with Corey Matthews.
Except this equipment's completely, this is a different roster of equipment.
Well, it is a
unpaid
different
payroll.
roster, but you're an owner. So if you're
Well, we should discuss that other application separately.
We will.
Because it's not clear. There's some things on the other thing that are his and not mine, and that's why what I want to do for the other one is actually delineate whose is whose. It's just both of our names were on it, and that was the question I had for the other application.
Okay. Is everybody ready to move on to the other one?
I am.
Or
Okay, so that's the Corey Matthews and Ben Poletsky. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how that originates. So one of the challenges I've been having with the document as a whole is that when we get some of this documentation, it's not clear what we're even talking about.
Okay, when you say some of this documentation, be specific. A notice that your assessment has changed?
Yeah. So for example, 131 South Street is not my address. And
did you fill this out or did someone else fill it out for you?
I filled this out based on not knowing exactly what to fill out and not having all the information I needed to.
Okay.
I did the best I could given the knowledge I had.
So that what you're doing there is saying where the location of the farm machinery or the ponies are.
My
or
cows.
that I never made this declaration to begin with, so I'm concerned of how it originated and
Okay, so
assumption
that,
for that to be created to begin with.
okay,
That's
so,
this application.
right. I think that's probably a conversation you have to be have with the assessor. And it's an important one because you want to own. So let me just finish, Ben.
Sure.
Let me just finish, because the assessor has the legal right. If she's driving around and she sees cows on your property and you're not declaring them and no one else is declaring them, she has the right to assume that they're yours and put them on your account. So by all means, if you see something that does not look correct, contact the assessor and say, hey, I don't own cows, or I don't own with this Mr. Matthews, or I want my account to have only what I own, and get it straight for next year. Absolutely.
So I thought that this forum was where that conversation happened, and hence that's why I was inclusive of this application. And if you look at the bottom, I delineate what's mine and what's not mine. So I really can only speak on behalf of what I have ownership stake on. It wouldn't be right if I said anything on Corey's behalf.
Right. I understand, but you and Corey both, it's your responsibility as business owners to make sure what is listed on the town's tax list is correct.
When I reached out to the assessor in that conversation, was my understanding that she wanted me to file something with this board to have that conversation.
I think probably, and I'm happy to talk with the assessor too, but I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding because we have a couple things going on here. I can make a decision as a member of this board whether and if you should have your machinery or cattle exempted. That's my job under statute. I'm reviewing the assessment and I'm hearing your complaint that, wait a minute, this should be exempt. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there's that piece, and we're doing that. But as a business owner myself, and I've also worked in assessment, the assessor has the legal right to do that, because sometimes, unfortunately, people don't declare openly and honestly. I don't believe that about you. I'm just saying, I think that's why legislators gave assessors in Connecticut that power. So if you're seeing something that is not correct on your account, okay, be sure that the very next filing period, okay, the very next filing period, you fill out that personal property declaration with all of your stuff only. If you want only your stuff on it, you put only your stuff on it. And then you make an appointment to discuss with the assessor that you don't have anything else jointly owned, and your account must be updated accurately. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's how to do that. So that, understand there's 2 points here, and you have every right to only have your equipment or your assets on your account. Okay. And I would advise you just take off the Board of Assessment Appeals hat. If you're filing for exemption for farm machinery and you can only have it in one town, one time, file for your stuff. Absolutely.
Well, the town issue is a non-issue because everything is in town, but I agree with everything else. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that's all. And I hope you do that and take a little time, because the statute is tough. Read it. And if you don't understand it, call the assessor and say, how do I fill this out? This is the situation.
I think
you have a
Eric's
contact
trying to
address.
say something.
Yeah, I just have a few questions.
Go ahead. I'll hush.
Ben, you made a comment about you don't know how this form was generated. Did you fill out and submit this form, or was this form
I don't think I made that comment specifically in that context, but explain. Oh, when I said I don't know how this form was generated, I wasn't sure how. Let me clarify. I know what you're talking about. I wasn't sure how my name and Corey's name for 131 South Street became co-associated. That's what I meant by I don't know how this form was generated.
Okay.
And the second part was, so I didn't know how that association, and I didn't know how that address was generated. And to boot, I didn't know what was associated with that address and our co-located names. And so I just didn't have any information to make an intelligent, to fill out this form in any intelligent way. And speaking with the assessor, who was really helpful, I think Betsy provided a lot of information. It's just we missed the time frame to correct it. That's simply the case. And as you can see from the previous form and from this one, you know, I'm making all efforts to just say this is what's on the roster. Help us delineate, you know, how do you want to handle it from here? Because what's on the form right now, particularly the one we're looking at, or specifically the one we're looking at, is just not. It just didn't make sense to me. Because it wasn't.
What is at 131 South Street in Morris?
That's Corey's address, not mine.
Okay, so that is his personal dwelling that he pays property tax on.
Yeah, that's his farm.
Okay, now, a lot of times, just to give you an idea of how the board looks at things and the assessor looks at things, kind of give you an example of what people have done when doing construction for myself and what I've witnessed right down the street from me. There might be a gentleman in Bantam who owns a lot of vehicles. And unfortunately, they don't want their assessor to come by and see that they own 16 tractors and 5 bucket loaders and 6 dump trucks. So he's got them all parked down the end of the road here on his buddy's property in Morris. So the Morris assessor goes by and sees all this equipment and writes the person up that he owes, you know, he's being assessed for all these vehicles sitting on his property. So he comes in and says, well, they're not my vehicles. I shouldn't be taxed for them. So what you've got to be careful of is if you do have any personal property being stored or sitting on someone else's property or your property, that you can be, that with that individual,
Well,
somebody's got to pay tax.
well, I'm sorry that happens for someone who's trying to be sinister, but like, wait, that doesn't appeal. That doesn't apply at all to this.
No,
So
no.
I'm sympathetic to you guys in that story, but like, wrong guy.
No,
No,
just
no,
be
no,
sure.
no, I'm not accusing you of this. I'm just saying, I know how farms work. I grew up on a farm and we used to have equipment parked in the next town because we were haying, and the assessor would come by and say, well, that's not his equipment kind of thing.
I'd like to share with you a farm story that's more current. I don't share any of my stuff because when I do, it breaks, and I don't like it off my property because it breaks, and then I have to deal with whoever broke it.
Excellent.
That's me. Don't
So,
don't be offended if someone asks to borrow something of mine. I say no.
No, that's pretty
Okay.
wise, really.
so what you're saying is the 131 South Street, you have no personal machinery, equipment, or property sitting on that parcel.
To delineate what is co-owned, and one thing that is co-owned is the 8 cows that are there. Those are shared cows, and sometimes in the summertime we have them over in our pastures grazing. In the wintertime I bring them over to his place, and they are in the management facility. And so
Is there anything else that's amiss? Just the livestock? Oh, good. Well, that's probably
that's the thing. I think it's a real clear. Looking at this, it's like a clear-cut case. But I just wanted to explain in the description. I tried to like say our initials right there to kind of like.
You did.
Show it. Yeah, I just didn't know if it was the right forum. After speaking with Betsy, obviously we missed the time frame, but it seemed like even through her, she wanted me to have this conversation with the board to just explain what's happening.
Right, and we want to make sure that we're not double dipping. In other words, if the cows are on Corey's Matthews land at 131 South Street, you two probably have an agreement if things are taxable or not taxable, or reach a threshold of tax as to how to deal with it. So, you know, we also want to make sure that, like you said, if somebody goes by the other property, you're not getting taxed for the same set of cows that he's being taxed for. So
yeah, that's a different problem and another problem to raise if that exists. I don't see that happening in the case of the way the 2 forms were sent over, but yeah, it's something exactly. That's a problem that's in the opposite favor.
Right.
You got it. So, and typically what happens is when we have situations like this, one individual takes responsibility for the taxes, and then they have some sort of business agreement with the other individual, because as the town assessor and board, we can't parse, we can't split the baby in half. It's
Yeah.
physically sitting somewhere and being taxed for that property. So, okay.
Yeah, I think the location designators for everything are accurate and representative of, as of March 17th, I think this is spot on.
Great. Well, just remember, it's your right to make sure that that's correct as of October 1. It's as of the assessment date in Connecticut. It's so silly. So just get it in on time, get it in correct, and we can judge whether and if you should have these two exemptions. That's what is in the purview of our board right now. But as an owner, you have the perfect right to make sure your assets are correct and accounted for. And that's one of the reasons why you should be declaring, because you declare it. If there's anything else that is added in there, you can say, not so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Come right on over to the barn. I'll show you. So,
yeah.
but you're a smart man. You can
with once they suddenly there was a pool on one of the rental properties, and the neighbor added the pool not to their property, so it was off by an address, and so yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, it happens. Whatever. Yeah. But I tried to look at it, and unfortunately missed it this year. But
yeah. The headaches of property ownership, right, Ben?
Everything.
I know. Do you have any questions for us?
No, this is straightforward. I'm glad we got to just talk it through and just get on the same page on everything. That's all. I think we all had realistic expectations on where things are. So I just wanted
right. And this goes away next year, but don't pay an accountant a lot to do it. Your farm business better than any guy behind a desk somewhere else. So
you recommend accountants on this call?
No, I don't recommend anybody, but you're obviously a really smart man. You could do this declaration. You really could, but that's up to you. But just
I'll tell you that every fall I get from my office in Torrington, it says what the items are in the office, and sometimes we've thrown them away or given them away. So you need to be very careful when you get that form from the town in the fall before October 1st to adjust it accordingly. And that's also a reminder to you to do the November 1st form.
If I could make a suggestion for going future, if it doesn't get implemented, I know changing processes is not trivial, but if there was ever an opportunity to do an online or electronic version of this, I know the response, but that would mean an amazing thing for me. But I know you're not alone.
Nope. Okay. Torrington still requires paper. Yeah, and that's a big city.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of farmers that don't want to even look at a computer, much less try and touch it. It's so frustrating. Well, I feel your pain.
What happened is, as mail's coming in, it's very easy for this to get lost in the shuffle, and that's
why they have ticklers, my good man. Ticklers.
I need like second request is maybe just follow me around, and then you can.
Yeah. We all need a wife, Ben. We all do.
Well, I got plenty. She keeps me in my cage.
I have a question. Do you have beef cow milkers or
beefers?
Yeah? How many?
8.
Oh, that's manageable.
They're the Oreo cookie cows.
Oreo.
The Galloways.
Galloway and Belted Galloway. So most are Galloways right now. It depends. You can tell the male carries the belt or non-belt gene.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 2 bulls, it's very easy to manage your parallel herds. They can't keep a secret, and so
they're so cool though. They're cool looking.
They are woolly things. My gosh, they were so woolly. I was walking over on Higby Road, and man,
they're really good. They're Scottish breed. They're really good foragers, and what's particularly nice about them is that they're just robust. They don't, with weather and everything like that. They're
Yeah, hardy.
hardy.
Yeah.
And, you know, even in Hurricane Sandy, I remember when there's a hurricane, you don't put them in the barn because
Mhm.
if a barn collapses, really bad things happen. So you put them in a field with a big stone wall. And what they'll typically go downwind and lay down next to the stone wall. And they just stay out of the mess. They don't care if it rains. And so during Sandy, like these knuckleheads are just I drive out there and my truck's getting blown around. These knuckleheads are just out there grazing like nothing's going on.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Strong, strong animal.
They're just cool.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Anyhow.
Well, it was nice to meet you, Ben.
You too, guys.
To see you.
Yeah. Any other questions? You let Betsy know. She's good and just set her straight.
No, I like I said, I have nothing but good things to say about Betsy. She was actually super helpful, and I'm glad she's with our town. So I'll leave it at that. If you don't have any questions, I can drop off, and if you guys need to.
I don't have any questions, but you should know what we'll do is by law, we have to notify you in writing of our decision. So you will get a written notice that says what the decision is. And I think that's it.
Awesome.
Within 10 days.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Good luck to you.
Yep. Have a great day.
You too.
Hey, you too. Take care.
There's a nice fellow.
He is a nice guy. His father was a nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know. Dave was his dad, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oops.
I tried to share the document, but I didn't quite get it right.
Well, I think he gets it. I mean, he's smart as a whip and he gets it. I mean, he needs to file and he needs to make sure it's correct. And that's his purview and his right. So I can understand if you're forgetting to file because you're just making assumptions. You don't make assumptions with towns or city governments or taxes ever.
Right.
The joint declaration hasn't been filed since the 2018 tax year. So they must have been getting tax bills and presumably paying them.
That's what I said. And by law, if you're paying the bill, you're acknowledging that it's correct. So that's why I asked him, what's this code 25? Did you never file or did you file late? And if you didn't file, you can't, anyway, I said my
problem everybody pretty much has with these forms is the penalty for not filing is a 25% penalty. And that's the real thing that gets them to the table. They're like, wait a minute, I got to pay my taxes and then a 25%.
Talk to your legislator. I don't call them. I don't know.
Yeah, but
And we can't waive it.
No.
Unfortunately, our hands are really tied on this.
Well, it's right there on the application. How can we give it to him unless we're going to give it to everybody else?
No,
we can't.
We cannot set policy.
We can't act in counter to the law either. At least I'm not gonna. I'll tell you right now. And that's why, I try and take time to explain to him because this is easy. This goes away next year. Pay attention to your business duties.
Mhm. Yep.
Welcome to farming.
Don't blame it on the accountant.
That's
My
right.
accountant has me review it every year.
Exactly. And if you're
I sign the form.
Yeah.
Tell it to the judge, right, Bridget?
Exactly. If you're signing the form without reviewing it, that's another problem.
Now, but it's.
So do we have to vote?
Yes, we do. I think the chairman has to call a vote.
Okay. I guess several ways to do this. I guess the easiest way to do it is, what's the words I'm looking for? We're looking to not, it's going to stand.
Well, if there's no other discussion, do we vote to make it exempt?
Deny the appeal.
That's why I'm struggling to look for the words because we can't affirm it because it was filled out after the fact. So we can't approve it. But then again, we can't deny it because the penalty is on it.
Well, we
So-
deny his appeal is what we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I
that's the
can
word I'm
deny it.
looking
I'm
for.
denying his appeal. That's my
We're
vote.
denying his appeal.
I
Yeah.
vote to deny his appeal.
I also vote to deny his appeal.
So it's unanimous.
Yes,
And in
unanimous.
our discussion, I think we went over and above to explain to him that he needs to tend to this and he can have it, you know, if he does it timely and correctly.
And simply, you know, and I'll just let Betsy know, I'm sure, I guess my question is, I guess we have to sign, physically sign. We want to do it like we did last year, just drop it off in each other's mailboxes.
We could do that. Are
Or
you
you want to
making,
put it at town hall and we just go in the clerk's office and we just go up and sign it? What do you guys
I
think?
don't want to go into the town hall.
Okay. Okay, I agree with you.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
well, why don't you make it out? Someone has to send him notice of our decision. Do you want me to
Betsy.
do that?
Betsy will send the notice out. That's what she typically does that. So
Right.
all we have to do is, well, Bridget, you printed this out, correct? You printed out both of these pages, correct? Both of these appeals, correct?
Well, it doesn't have a signature line for denial. You know how you have it on the back of, you normally have the files, Eric, and there's that form
Yes.
in there that we sign.
Yeah, you're right. This one doesn't have one. You know what? I might have some. Let me look through to see if I have any spares. If I don't, if I do, I will sign it and send it off to the next person.
So what are you going to do? Send it US mail, Eric, or?
I can send it mail or I can drive by the mailbox and stuff it in. It doesn't matter to me.
You
You
can
can dropping in the mailboxes last year with the
Yeah.
barn appeal.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
Fine with me.
All right. Let me, if I don't have any, I'll have Betsy scan one and send it to me and then I can. The other thing too is, do you guys have any way of signing and printing, signing and scanning?
Absolutely, but will they accept, a scan's not necessarily an original?
Let me find out from Betsy if they'll accept the scanned signature.
Right, because if you want to send it, if they'll accept scan signatures, you can send it to me last and I can then scan it and, email it with all our signatures if you want, if it's easier. I do that every day with stuff with court, so it's no big deal.
I was even thinking if we just emailed it to each other, signed it and scanned it and sent it on. I know it probably loses quality every time, but nowadays with printers and scanners, the quality holds in there pretty tight, so.
The issue is whether or not an original has to be in the assessor's file of the denial and whether or not there's an executive order. There might be an executive order
Okay.
allowing for scanned signatures, like there is an executive order about having these meetings virtually.
Gotcha.
I
will
just-
find.
If it didn't apply to me, I didn't read the executive order.
Okay. I
There were
will
hundreds.
find out from Betsy because she was the one who told me that there was a lot of changes. We could do the Zoom meeting. We didn't have to meet in person, that we had extra time to do certain things. So COVID has really turned things upside down and backwards.
Well, they extended some deadlines and now some of them have not been extended. So it's very confusing.
Yes. And I think hopefully Betsy's on top of that and make sure we don't miss anything. So
Well, we should tell her of our decision, and then they can go ahead and send out the notice if they will. They may not. They may say, no, I want those signatures right in here. But we should let her know,
okay.
via email or something tomorrow morning that we decided to deny both of them, both appeal.
Deny. I'm just taking some notes so when I type up the email and I talk to her, I don't forget something. All right. Yeah, I also turned on my video camera just so you know I am dressed. You know, it's funny today what can get caught when you're video chatting. Yeah, I think it's the biggest equalizer in the world because a lot of times I'm talking to members of the boards or CEOs or presidents of large companies. And next thing you know, you hear daddy, 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 and they're like, mute it. And then they come back on and we're like, he's like, I am so sorry. You know, this big, falutin, high-powered guy, you know, that we're working on multi-million-dollar projects. And he's like, I'm so sorry. And we're like, listen, we're all human. We all have lives.
Right, right. So, do you guys, can we discuss some new business and maybe decide when we're going to do the September board meeting and have a date?
I'm
That-
alive then.
I'm wide open if we, yeah.
Maybe a Saturday morning?
Or a weeknight, or it doesn't matter.
What's best for you, Bridget, morning or evening?
I don't like too late. 5 o'clock's as late as I want to go.
We could also do that since it's a one-shot deal. We could do that on a Saturday. If you you know, it's whatever we prefer.
If we're going to do a Saturday, I prefer earlier in the month only because I have a whole lot of birthdays and anniversaries and stuff. And hopefully by then my family can get together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
true.
September.
Well, we could do it
Um,
Friday evening too.
I hate Friday evenings.
So let's see, September 6th, I think, is Labor Day because that's the first Monday.
Yeah, we should shy away from that.
Yeah, stay away
That's-
from that weekend.
What
Is
about,
the 11th from 10 to 12?
No, not 2 hours. No, we don't need 2 hours. Remember, they come. It's first come, first serve. And we don't normally have very many, do we?
that's
No,
the one for the
last year-
cars or the
that's-
real estate?
Motor vehicle only.
Right.
I would think an hour would be plenty.
Yeah, so 9 to 10.
9 to 10 would be better for me. Can you get up that early, Eric? Am I gonna have to call you and wake you?
No, I'll be good.
I'll call your daughter and she'll wake you.
Yes, she will. Come
So
right
is
after me.
that September 11 from 9 a.m. to 10?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we took care
Meet
of
in the town hall.
I think we can, but we'll have to check base. Whoa, 9/11. Oh dear.
I know, it's awful.
Yeah, I know. I thought of that the minute we said it. Hey, but the other thing too is the town hall is only open the first Saturday of the month, aren't they?
But that's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
No,
And,
the fourth is Labor Day week.
and library is open on weekends, right?
Right.
Well,
Oh,
let's
So people
set the
walk through
time.
then.
Let's designate the time and we can figure it closer to then.
all right. So September between 9 and 10, the weekend in September.
Between 9 and 10.
Thank
And
you. Thank
Which
you
day?
for keeping us on track.
which day? I missed the day.
Saturday, September 11th, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
I
Yeah.
didn't. All right. It's been great, guys. It's such a fun
Nice to see
touch base.
everybody.
I
But
know,
can
I
we
get
go now? I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
I get to
I'm
talk to
hungry too.
somebody other than myself, and I don't have a 10, 12-minute car ride home.
Oh. All
So we
right.
can leave the meeting.
We can leave the
I
meeting.
hope everybody gets their vaccines and stays safe and well.
I'm
Hey,
waiting on my
same
second
to you.
one now.
I'm assuming when I sign out, it's going to stop. I'll stop recording once everybody logs out.
I think
I'll
so.
log off.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.